Good morning, YouTube! It is Monday morning, bright and early. It is, I believe, 10 till 7 in Houston time. Central zone, still kind of dark out. Sun's coming up slowly. Rolling out of very far northwest reaches of Harris County, Houston, Cypress, Texas. Mama, me mama, she made me a full coffee, strong coffee from the Keurig. I just filled up with Texas Mobil 93 octane. We don't even have that in Colorado. It's kind of nice, although my gas mileage has sucked quite a bit with all this extra air, extra octane. It is throwing quite a bit of fuel in the cylinders. The Prancing Moose is very spirited down here, but my gas mileage stinks. That was like 22.3 on that tank, and I'm not going to tell you how fast I was driving between Dallas and Houston because traffic was moving. Anyway, I am rolling out today. It is time to head home on the high country road trip. I believe, I looked it up, Houston is 80 feet above sea level, and we are headed towards Amarillo. That's the correct pronunciation. It literally means yellow, people. Anyway, heading to Amarillo. I think that was like 3,700 feet, something like that, almost 3,008, which is pretty impressive and quite a bit warmer than Houston is right now. So anyway, that is today's objective. We're going to head up there. I just missed my turn for my highway 290 west towards Austin. This is simple. Yeah, here we go. I got it. I don't even have Waze on yet. I think this is the right one. Anyway, we are going to do this. Heading to the high country. It is time to go home, see Hot Mamacita. It has been, I left on Thursday over a week ago. So that is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Today is the 11th day of this trip. So I am heading home. I will be home in Boulder, Colorado. Boulder County on Tuesday. Tonight I'm staying somewhere near Amarillo. We'll see how close I get. I'm trying to figure out why they named their town Yellow. So we'll figure that out. Anyway, as they say in the immortal words of the Mountain Gazette, when in doubt, go higher. Today is the start of the high country road trip. I am heading home to Hot Mamacita. Good morning, YouTube. We are 1 hour into the high country road trip. Not 100% sure. We are heading northwest-ish. I don't have a compass in here, so I think we're heading northwest-ish to Austin. We are 1 hour out of Harris County, Houston suburbs, towards Austin, Texas. And I'm crossing my fingers. Austin's a college town, University of Texas. I'm crossing my fingers they have Starbucks, because I have passed up 2 Starbucks options on this highway 290 already. So crossing my fingers I get up here to Greater Austin. I'm going to get a good Starbucks and we'll continue this trip to Amarillo. But anyway, it got a little foggy back there. Kind of interesting. Houston, Harris County was all kind of open ranchland like this is right here. Very flat for distances, lots of woods. And then suddenly back there where it got foggy, it was suddenly starting to turn into rolling hills. I know they call Austin hill country, so I am looking forward to seeing the hills and seeing what this is all about. Don't really know. I've heard it's always really beautiful, so that's why we're taking this route on the way home to Colorado. So I will check in with you in another hour. Hopefully I have a Starbucks in my hand on the next video segment from somewhere closer to Austin. All right, we are hour 2. I am in Austin, Texas, deep in the heart of it. Drove right by the airport. For some reason, I think I'm going to, I just said Austin, Texas, so I'm going to the dead center core of the city, it looks like. But the Waze had me come in. I came by Circuit of the Americas. I think that's the Formula 1 race course. And then also the airport, and now I'm heading in on, I don't know, 7th Street or something like that. It looks like I got some high rises up here. I think I saw the Capitol Dome.
In 1,000 feet.
Yeah, there we go. Waze is giving me more directions. Anyway, so heading in here, it is fog again. I'm not really sure what this is, but we're hitting fog in 1 hour intervals. About 20 minutes ago, Waze had me get off of Highway 290 and it came in on a different highway and it was split. 2 lanes in either direction with a split down the middle, kind of like a Parisian boulevard, with pine trees and rolling hills at 75 miles an hour. It felt like a Formula 1 race course like the Nürburgring in Germany. That was pretty fun and amazing and interesting. Never seen a road quite like that. So I hope we're in hill country. There are palm trees every once in a while, little stubby palm trees, and oh no, those are desert yuccas. Never mind, that's not a palm tree, but I did see palm trees back there. That one's a yucca. Anyway, Heading into the city. We're gonna get up here. We're gonna find a Starbucks. We are gonna head northwest out of here to Amarillo, the city of yellow, and we'll find out what that's all about. Catch you up soon.
Turn left on.
All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and film this now. We are still in Austin. We're on the northwest burbs, I guess, of Austin, Texas. Lost a good 45 minutes goofing around in there. Found a Starbucks. I am happy. Thank you, Austin, college town. Starbucks everywhere. Found a Starbucks off the highway. We are heading to Amarillo. Yeah, it's a little hilly on this side, but I'm not really sure what hill country is, except it's just rolling woods everywhere. Maybe that's what it is. We'll figure it out. But I thought I'd give you a little bonus footage. I am on Highway 183 heading northwest out of Austin. And I think I passed by the FC, or Austin FC sign. So their stadium must have been back there a little bit. I didn't see the stadium, but I saw a sign to exit for it. So anyway, what did I call this road trip? I can't remember. Something about high. Well, I can't remember. When in doubt, go higher. Something like that. High times. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're high country. The high country road trip. Anyway, heading back home to Colorado. Although we're not leaving Texas today. That's a long trip. Anyway, catch up with you soon. We'll get back in here in about an hour. We're gonna cruise and see what we see. All right, it's been about almost another hour since I left Austin on the highway back there. Still on Highway 183, heading north, mostly north, but kind of west, up to Amarillo. But the land is definitely drying out. It's heavily wooded and forested, but the land itself seems to be getting a little bit more dry. I did a little sleuthing at the Starbucks waiting for my Americano. Houston, Texas, 80 feet above sea level. Cypress, Texas, at the very edges of Harris County, is 100 or 110. It wasn't really precise. I think it kind of gave me a range. And then Austin was 500. I think it was 580, something like that. 568 or 586, something like that. And pretty much since I have left the Austin city limits on this Highway 183, I have been doing nothing but climbing. It's really pretty. It is heavily woods. I look through these trees on the right and I can't see anything. It's solid. Some open prairies back in there and some fields, but you go like 20 feet through these woods and you can't see anything on the other side. It's kind of neat. But the land is definitely starting to dry up a bit. I'm like, last time I looked, I think I was about 10 or 15 miles outside of La Casas, heading in there. But I wanted to give a look at this. It's still very green, but the land is not as wet as it looked in Houston on open ag lands. So it seems to be drying out a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if within an hour I'm starting to see some sagebrush. But I'm just guessing because I've never been here in my entire life. Never have seen any of this. All right, tune back in, YouTube fans. We'll keep you updated here in about another hour or so. We are 209 miles since we filled up for gas leaving Cypress, Texas. And we are, I think we left at 7 o'clock, so it was a little bit before 7. We are right at 4 hours right now. And again, I lost 45 minutes cruising around and checking out downtown Austin. So we are making up some time out here on the open highway. Be safe. All right, welcome back. We are now, it is 12:15. So what does that put us? Left Cypress, Texas at 7. We are a little over 5 hours, almost 5.5 hours since we rolled out this morning. 291 miles into this trip, and I was pleasantly surprised. Rolled into early Texas. It said it was 3,000 people, and pleasantly surprised on my left was a freestanding Starbucks. Rolled in there, I got a new Americano. I got me a sausage cheese biscuit, and I think it's a twin city. It seemed much bigger than 3,000 people. I crossed a river and it said Brownwood, I think was the name of it. So definitely a bigger community than 3,000 people. With a Starbucks, I am happy. Looked it up on Google Maps, so I'm waiting for my Americano, and I am dead center in the middle of Texas. 291 miles, and I'm just made it to the center of Texas. Waze tried to send me to Lubbock. I think it's a little bit quicker that way. Through Lubbock on the way to Amarillo. but I heard that it's kind of ugly and nothing to see there. So I opted for this route that we're on right now. It's Highway 279. This will go through Abilene. I've heard it's the prettiest city ever seen. Anyway, we are deep in the heart of Texas. Waze is telling me I literally have 344 more miles to go to get to Amarillo. And that will still leave me well inside of Texas, below the little panhandle of Oklahoma, and then I think I'll head west from there going into Mexico. We'll see. But I'll wing that up tomorrow. All right, it's still woodsy. Land is still drying out. There's lots of forest. You can see this. We just these are blue bonnets or bluebells, blue bonnet. I think that's the ice cream company. It's the little wildflowers on the side of the road. Something about Lady Bird Johnson and all this Texas state wildflowers. Indian paintbrush back there, and the purple ones, bluish purple, are blue bonnet, I think is what it's called. Anyway, I'm on my way. I'll check back in with you in about an hour. Welcome to the High Country Road Trip. We are coming up on hour 6. I thought I'd go ahead and shoot this now. I believe I'm coming up on Abilene. I'm supposed to turn in just under 3 miles on a frontage road, so I'm guessing that's Abilene. I am on Highway 2 something. Hang on, let me get around this corner. I'm not even going the speed limit, by the way. The speed limit is 75. That was 68. We are on Highway 283. But I did notice something. Land is definitely getting drier. Still hills in every direction. We are still climbing. I can feel it. My ears are popping every once in a while. But look at these trees. These trees are barely leafed out. This is early spring. We are finding the limits of spring and green. Those trees on the left right there don't even have leaves yet. Yep, they just have little buds. So it just kind of hit me maybe in the last 10 miles that suddenly the trees were not fully leafed. Some of the big ones are, like they're in that field over there. There's one big tree over there. I don't know what kind of tree it is. I don't know trees. I know aspens, I know ponderosa pines, I know lodgepole pines. But that tree on its right, behind this white sign, that's fully leafed. All these other ones, barely leafing out from the buds. So we found the limits. Austin, that was well into spring, maybe early summer. Houston, that felt like Colorado summer. Everything was green. My mom's garden was knee-high. Yeah, Hot Mamacita at home. The same day I see my mom's garden knee-high, Hot Mamacita just turned the dirt in our garden. We haven't even planted anything yet. I think Denver's supposed to get snow and sleet this week. But I just saw some friends post it was 75 degrees. So anyway, heading home. That's an update. I think we're coming up on Abilene. I don't know this area at all. Never seen it in my life. So maybe we're on the outskirts of Abilene somewhere. But heading home and I'll give you an update. We are over halfway. It says 290 miles, 287 to get to... Oh, I gotta pay attention here. 287 miles to get to Amarillo. And we're turning left here. No, we're not. We're going up to an interstate. Not this one. And anyway, yeah, Abilene. That sign over there on to the left that we're not taking says Abilene 21 miles. It looks like we're going up to Highway Interstate 20. Wow, I've never heard of Interstate 20. I've heard of the 10 in San Diego, but never the 20. This is all new ground for me. Anyway, I've gone 350 miles today, and it says we got 287 more to go. So we are over halfway. Still pretty much dead center Texas. Anyway, I will catch up to you soon. Another hour or so. Good afternoon, YouTube. Look at this. This is drastically different. We are 408 miles out of Cypress, Texas. And we are on the quest for petrol. I stopped in some little town, don't even know the name, had 2 little rundown gas stations, Anol or something like it, A-N-O-L were the gas stations. All they had was 90 octane and half the pumps were covered up. So we opted out of that and we are continuing on. I believe there's a little town up here called Hamlin. No idea how big Hamlin is. Hoping I can get some gas because we are below a quarter tank. I could probably go maybe 35 to 50 miles, somewhere in there before I gotta get gas. I gotta go pee. I need petrol. We are gonna stop up here, but look at this different climate. It has climbed up. It's now 79 degrees, and we have been doing nothing but climbing. climbing on these wide open prairie, I guess you'd call this. Anyway, it continues. Hamlin, Texas, coming up in I don't know, looks like maybe a couple miles. So hopefully I can get some good gasoline. I'd like to get some more 93. I'm definitely going to get some 93 in Amarillo. And then continue into Colorado where I can only get 91. But hopefully I can get 91 in Hamlin. I will see you on the flip side here in a little bit. Hopefully I don't run out of gas in the middle of nowhere, Texas. Alright, quick update. I cleaned the window. They had some bug juice. Looks like that's a bug. There we go. I got it cleaned off for you. They had the scrubby with the bug water, so I got that cleaned up. Hamlin almost let me down. Woo! I don't know which was worse, the petrol situation or the having to pee. But I pulled into the first gas station that had a whole bunch of cool old signs on it, old Shell signs, old gas station signs, all those collectibles, porcelain signs. Pulled in there what I would call the nice gas station. 9 pumps, nothing but the Texas finest 87 octane. So my situation got worse. I left 90 at the crappy last town. Gas stations, came to Hamlin. First station I pulled into, the nice station with all the antique collectibles, 87 octane. Looped around, kept going, 1 block or half a block or 2 buildings down the street, I guess it was. Crappy Conoco, the hop-in convenience store with a little jackrabbit. Went in there, pulled into the little Conoco, 91 octane, we be in business. And cleaned the window, got it full tank. Went and pee. I got a liter of water. I got a bag of Costco's trail mix, aka dad mix. I don't know what my phone is telling me. I don't remember how far it was to go. Let's see if I can pull it up. I think I killed it. Anyway, we are now on a full tank of petrol. Resume drive. Go. We are 226 miles from Amarillo, Texas. There's whatever those cities are, Aspermont and Guthrie. Never heard of them. Never once heard of them. Again, look at these trees. Hardly any leaves. This is early spring in whatever this is, north central Texas. I don't even know if this is north yet. I'm not looking at Google Maps. We're just cruising. All right, catch you soon. I just did the math on my fingers to make sure I had this right. Hour 8. Look at this. It's a different planet, and we are still way inside Texas. This is amazing. Actually, it's kind of funny. I've been thinking about this for like the last 25 minutes. We just blazed through Guthrie. Luckily, I saw the school 30-mile-an-hour sign just in time because there was a policeman waiting at the top of the hill. But wasn't intending to speed through that, but I saw it just in time, hit the brakes, got to 30, and he waved at me. So I take it to mean that was good. Anyway, looking at this scenery, the past 20 miles or so, this reminds me of Colorado, except for how bright this road is. It's up there, it's getting darker, it looks like, but this bright asphalt, that's different than Colorado. Colorado roads are darker like that up there, unless that's just, that might be an illusion, I'm not sure. No, that's got to be dark roads. That's dark. That's what Colorado roads look like. So, now it looks just like Colorado. Ooh, except it's really freaking rough. This is going to be brutal. Oh my god, that chip sealed. So it has the pale blue sky, the puffy clouds, the dry, arid high plains. This looks like Colorado, and I am still in Texas. I'm 172 miles from Amarillo. I'm a long way out, 467 miles into this trip. I did notice this is Route 83 North, and it looked familiar, and I kept thinking, seeing these signs. I believe this is going to become Parker Road in Denver, Colorado. I think Parker Road from Parker to Denver, where it gets to, what is that road? I-225? I think that's Route 83. I don't know where it goes after that, but I'm pretty sure this becomes Parker Road. This is going to drive me nuts. I'm going to have to turn the radio up because there is quite the loud road vibration. This is some seriously rough chip and seal on a highway. That's 75 miles an hour speed limit on chip and seal. All right, that's your update. I'll see you on hour 9. Coming up on hour 9, and yes, I'm almost yelling. I can barely hear the radio driving on this heavy aggregate, asphalt, top cap, chip and seal, whatever the hell this is. The speed limit's 75 miles an hour. That first section that we experienced in hour 8, 25, 30 miles of that to the next city. On the other side of the city, it was old top cap and it smoothed out, but it was still loud at 75 miles an hour. It's brutal. Just turned from Route 83. I don't know what the city was. It was Road F Northwest, like alphabetical A, B, C, D, E, F. Road F Northwest, turn left. It's Highway 287, and it's the heavy aggregate top cap again at 75 miles an hour. It is brutal. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's one set of noise canceling headphones away from being pleasant. That's as good as I'm going to give it. Other observations, way out here in the middle of nowhere. I have passed in 536 miles exactly one rest area. And if I remember correctly, it was between the halfway point of Houston and Austin. Somewhere in there. Didn't need to use that, but there were a lot of cars at that rest area. Since then, I have passed at least a minimum of 10 picnic areas. I'm going to repeat that because I know that it's loud. You may not hear me correctly. Picnic areas. I have seen no one. I repeat, no one is picnicking. Not a single car. Not a single person is there. They don't have bathrooms. Who drives to the middle of nowhere in Central Texas and the Panhandle to picnic? The last time I went on a road trip, drove anywhere that involved a picnic, would have been in the early 80s. No, excuse me, mid 70s. I was probably 8, and I was driving with my great grandparents. Let me repeat that, great grandparents, and we stopped at a rest area with bathrooms and had a picnic. Great grandma pulled out a Wonder Bread bag that she had kept the pre-made white bread sandwiches in. Oh my God, Hall County. Yeah. Oh, I can stop yelling. Let's just absorb this for a second. I didn't know it was coming, but that's going to lead into one of my next observations. But anyway, the last time I picnicked was great grandma and grandpa in the mid 70s when I was 8, driving somewhere in southern Illinois, Indiana, somewhere. And great grandma, we stopped at a rest area and had a picnic. That's the last time I did it. And for frame of reference, they died of being very old. They had long, healthy lives. They died in the late 80s. And we still have picnic areas, and no one's using them. Not a single bathroom at these picnic areas. No one's going to get in their car, drive to the middle of nowhere, eat lunch, and have a picnic. Don't bring any drinks, because we can't pee when we get there, and it's a long way back. No one's going to do that. The other observation is, I liked Hall County, I think it was. They got a better road surface here. There are too many counties. I've gone through somewhere between 30 and 50 counties today. I've driven 540 miles almost. There needs to be a minimum population for counties. You're wasting money on all these county signs. Save some money.
Police reported ahead.
Uh-oh, police are up here. Save some money on these county signs. Combine like 8 of these counties into one. There should be a minimum number of people to be a county. Save money on making all these signs. Pay for a portalet. Put a portalet at the picnic area and call it a rest area. That's what people need. And also, finer aggregate in the top cap on the asphalt. This is brutal. Hall County's got it right. Whatever those last counties were back there, I lost count. That was ridiculous. Not even a pleasurable drive. All right, I think that gets it. I talked about too many things. Hour 9, we are cruising, literally coming up on hour 9 right now. I got literally 100 miles to go, and I will be in Amarillo. We are 500 and literally just rolled it. 540 miles. It's going to be a 640 mile day, but it's been fun. And obviously, if you were doing this, you wouldn't go from Houston to Austin, and definitely not into the core downtown of Austin to check it out. You would just shoot straight up northwest from Houston and bypass all that, probably through Dallas, Fort Worth. Anyway, all right, I'll check in with you on hour 10. Texas. It's a different planet up here, but it is still Texas. Windmills all over the place. That's good. It's a little bit breezy and gusty up here. That's good. They're using the wind. Good on you, Texas. I saw a solar farm several hours back. That was kind of nice. But this highway is like one of the best ones I've had all day. Highway 287. Cruising. It says I have 28 more miles to go before I am in Amarillo. I'm willing to wager Amarillo is named Amarillo because it's going to have this sort of yellowy tint to it. Everything's turning kind of yellowy. There's a no mas verde. No muy verde. Not very green. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, yeah. So that's all I got. We are now at, let me look here, 614 miles, 27 to go. We are cruising on in. I'm gonna find somewhere to stop, get some food. Prancing Moose needs a bath. We drove through some raindrops, some big raindrops from one single cloud in the sky, right over the top of us, me and the Prancing Moose, and it cleaned off all the bug guts. So just so you know, if you're looking at bug guts right there in front of the camera, that's since the rainstorm, all within an hour. So anyway, that's what I got. I'm sick of driving, my butt hurts, and I'm gonna look for a place for some accommodation, get a car wash, and something to eat and hang out. Probably get out and stretch. Oh man, I've been sitting in here all day. 10-hour day. Still in Texas. Last week on the first part of this road trip, it was the Tornado Alley road trip when I left to go to the Dallas Cup on March 30th. I don't even know what number today is. So March 30th when I left Colorado, in 10 hours I drove through Denver, from Boulder, through Denver, out the east of Denver, southeast corner through, I don't remember the name of those cities. Anyway, into southern Kansas, to Wichita, south into Oklahoma, 3 states in 10 hours. Today, still Kansas, or not, oh, excuse me, still Teja. Still in Teja, and I don't know, I'll have to look at Google when I get to Amarillo. I believe I'm still well inside the panhandle of Teja. Probably at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half in any direction. I'll figure that out here in a little bit. All right, be safe. Check in with you later. All right, I'm in Amarillo, and I just got to film this because this is exactly the spot where Waze told me to go when you put in Amarillo, Texas. This is it. Right here. Dead center. You're good, man. This is it, and I kid you not, there's a KFC right there, and there's a Taco Bell right there. It's a Taco Bell parking lot that Waze says is the dead center point of Amarillo, Texas. Look at the bugs on the front of the Prancing Moose. Woo! Time to find a car wash. All right, from what Waze considered the dead center of Amarillo, Texas, which was literally a decrepit KFC and Taco Bell, I have found I made a makeup. So when I was in Dodge City, Kansas, I totally missed it. But since this is my destination today, I'm giving Tyler Hoover a makeup. That's right. I just found a Freddy's Frozen Custard 8 miles away from Waze's dead center on the north end of Amarillo.
Right.
I am south. I'm pulling into Freddy's Frozen Custard, but I'm gonna be honest. I ain't here for no stinking custard. I'm here for a steak burger. Anyway, Tyler, if this is for you, I messed up on the way into Dodge City and missed the Freddy's Frozen Custard. So I'm going to this one here in Amarillo. And then we're going to find a car wash because the Prancing Moose is dirty. All right, people, be safe. All right, going to give you the panorama view from the Sportwagen 5-star accommodations of the TA Travel Center in Amarillo, Teja. There's the front looking out. That's Interstate 40 actually. So we are just located. It's in Amarillo, but we are on the east side. So that's US 40. Scrolling this way, that's east. Parked up back here under the lights. Super comfy. Truckers all sleeping back there. There's my feet. 2 feet. Hello, feet. Laying diagonal in the back of the Sportwagen. More semi-trucks. There we is. And that's looking west at the sunset. And there's the TA Travel Center. I am sleepy. There's a creeper looking car right there. That thing looks barely roadworthy. That's probably a Tyler Hoover. That's probably on its way to Wichita. Just some fixing and loving and it'll be fine. Anyway, that's it for the night. I'm snoozing out. I've been sitting here catching up on the YouTubes. I'm a bit tired. It is time for some shut-eye and get on the road in the morning. Good morning, YouTube. It is a brisk 58 degrees here on Tuesday morning. I don't know what day of the week it is. I think it's April, or it's Tuesday. I know the day. I think it's Tuesday, April 11th. Don't quote me on that. You can look it up on a calendar. I know the year, 2023. Anyway, got a good 9.5 hours of sleep. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. I slept like a baby in the back of the I'm gonna give it a solid 4 stars in a sleeping bag. In the back of the Prancing Moose last night. There's a whole bunch of cars parked in there. I would actually say the TA Travel Center is a little bit better sleeping than the rest area. It's a little noisier. There's more activity going on here closer to the highway. But they sell everything you could ever possibly need in there. And I got a semi pulling me. I know you saw me. That was kind of weird. Why am I waiting for you when you have a stop sign? That was kind of weird. That guy's an idiot. And guess what? He's on the road out there driving the big rigs. Let's go the opposite direction that he is going, and let's do it quickly. All right, I'm heading into town, and guess what? I'm looking for Starbucks. And I know they got one. It's up here somewhere in Amarillo. All right, I'm on the road today. I'm going home. I miss my family. I'm going to be in Boulder, Colorado by the end of this day. Oh, by the way, I had a P0016 code when I started the car just before shooting this film. It cleared out. It has done that a couple times. I think it did it back in January. Did it 2 days in a row. And then it did it the first day that I drove the car once I arrived in Dallas. It threw a P0016 code. And then it did it again today. So, I don't know. We'll see what that one's all about. But it clears out and the car drives absolutely perfect. So, be safe. And we'll shoot some more GoPro footage on this high country road trip. Day 2, the Deuce. All right, YouTube, I have a Starbucks Americano in hand. It was only like, I don't know, maybe a mile and a half down the highway heading west from the TA Travel Center. That was easy button morning in Amarillo. Yellow is delivering the goods. Well, we are heading north out of Amarillo. Funny thing is, I just drove by the Taco Bell Kings, or KFC, that Waze brought me to as what it considered Amarillo, Texas, which is very interesting. Maybe their Chamber of Commerce should look into that and put a pen for Google and Waze to drop people into, like, I don't know, Civic Center Plaza or something. There seemed to be a lot of nice areas and parks and settings and stuff as I drove through there to get to that rundown KFC Taco Bell parking lot. I have no idea why Waze thinks that is the dead center. When you want to go to Amarillo, Texas, you're going to KFC and Taco Bell. Very interesting. But anyway, heading north. Still a little groggy and raspy this morning. This is what it looks like in Amarillo. It's un poquito amarillo un poquito verde. It's like a mix of yellow and green at the moment. So I don't know why it's called Amarillo. I didn't even look it up on the Wikipedia, but I'm heading out of here. I need to get home. Giving you guys a lay of the land. We have blue skies. It is now 59 degrees. I think it's supposed to be 82, I heard on the radio, which is 10 degrees warmer than their normal this time of year. So, ironically, I think that's the same temperature when I get home today. So it's going to be a beautiful day. All right, I will check in about an hour. This is day 2 of the high country road trip. First hour. Actually, we're just starting. All right, we're not quite the first hour yet. It's only 8:50. We rolled out about 8 o'clock, and I gave you that follow-up leaving Almeria. So it's been this is a short leg, but I am on Texas Highway. I believe it's 354. I think I'm heading due west. This is amazing. The speed limit on a 2-lane. This is just like some farm road. It's 75 miles per hour. It's a little wavery. 75 miles per hour. It has been perfectly straight, although this is the first time I'm going to have to turn in like, I don't know, 20 miles. It's been like this the whole time. There was a railroad crossing that was elevated higher than the road, and the speed limit never came down from 75. There it is, 75 miles an hour, and that's exactly what I have the cruise set on. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't want to go any faster because this is pretty ripply. I'm bouncing all over the place. The semi-trucks are bouncing all over the place. It's hilarious. I remember, I was on the railroad track. I came up to it, I slowed down to 50 because I'm pretty sure had I have hit the elevated railroad track at 75, I would have flown like the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard. And it never gave me a warning. Waze told me that there was a railroad track. There was nothing except, you're gonna launch, kid. Slow down. It was like my own, my own conscience was telling me, danger, danger, danger. The other thing that strikes me is just kind of funny. Gotta love the Panhandle. Out here in the middle of nowhere, 75 miles an hour on a 2-lane, ripply, wavy road. The speed limit when I was a kid on Interstate 70, an interstate in open Colorado, open areas of Kansas, was 55 miles per hour. That was a substantially more improved road than I'm currently driving on in the Panhandle of Texas at 75. It's what the world out here. It's a different planet. The Panhandle of North Texas, unreal. This is kind of cool. So apparently I'm turning on Rock Island Avenue, and I believe I'm heading due west. I don't have a compass, but I think I'm heading pretty much due west towards Nuevo Mexico, or Mexico Nuevo. I'm not sure how far away it is. I still think I'm probably, I don't know, an hour away from, I'll have to look it up. I have no idea. But anyway, it's kind of fun that they threw some curves into the road. We're running some hills. Still no views of any mountains on the horizon, but obviously we'll get to that point eventually. Just rolled through Texline population 507 at 35 miles an hour. Oh, we're picking back up to speed at 45. It has been 796 miles of driving since I left Cypress, Texas on day 1 yesterday. 2 hours today since I left Amarillo at the TA Travel Center. 130 miles already. I gotta give Texas credit. I've been driving in the middle of nowhere. There's actually like little buttes sitting up there. Kind of cute.
On US 87 north, entering New Mexico.
Radio coverage, cell coverage in the Panhandle, in the middle of Texas, in the middle of nowhere. Excellent, excellent service. The radio hasn't always played what I wanted to listen to, but there were always several options available, and there was a strange anomaly yesterday on 3 separate occasions, hours apart from each other.
US 87 north,
I heard TLC's Waterfall, and not just pieces of it. I heard the entire song from the opening to the end. I can't remember the last time I'd heard that song, and I got to hear it 3
1 hour and 19
times.
minutes to
So kudos,
north
good on you.
Trinidad.
Excellent radio and cell service. I've had the 5Gs almost all for the entire trip. And look at that, just in time, 2 hours out of Amarillo, we are in Mexico Nuevo, land of enchantment. So it only took us 12 hours of driving from Cypress, Texas. We did do a detour through Austin. So I don't know, throw another hour out of that, but yeah, 12 hours of driving in Texas, and we didn't even cover the whole state from north to south. That is a huge state. Mile 1, we are 1 mile. I love it. That seemed like a really short mile. I'm not so sure you're accurate on that, Mexico Nuevo. Anyway, adios, Teja. We are in New Mexico, Mexico Nuevo. We are heading over to Raton. We're gonna meet I-25 in Raton. We'll go up over Raton Pass. I wasn't really sure which way to go on this route. I could have gone further north out of the Panhandle across the little sliver of the Oklahoma Panhandle and into true southeastern Colorado. I've never seen that. Someday I'll do that trip. But I'm following my own advice. When in doubt, go higher. So we're going over Raton Pass on I-25. Know that route well. We're gonna hop on I-25 and we'll go through over Raton Pass. We'll hit Trinidad, Walsenburg, Pueblo, Colorado Springs, Castle Rock, Denver, and over to Boulder. And we'll be home. Easy trip at this point. It says I'm going to be home about 2 o'clock. I might even be able to make it on a full tank of gas, so we'll see. Anyway, that's the update. We are on Mexico Nuevo. Adios, Teja. Just rolled through in hour, what is this, hour 3? 187th mile since we left Amarillo. Well inside of Mexico Nuevo. Just rolled through Des Moines, New Mexico. And this is what I love about New Mexico. It is so deceptive. It's these rolling, climbing hills like this on these great expanses of prairie with mountainettes in the distance and little buttes. And then you roll through a town like Des Moines and it tells you the elevation is 6,650 some feet. That's shocking. That's a couple hundred feet lower than the town of Steamboat Springs, a ski town in Colorado. Obviously the top of the ski area is much higher than that. But it's just shocking because it just sneaks up on you in New Mexico. You have no idea your elevation until you see one of these signs, and it's kind of shocking. Also, Capulan Volcano National Monument. Since I hit the border, or the state line of New Mexico and Texas, I've been seeing these basaltic lava capstones on these bluffs and little buttes. And I was kind of curious if it had come from the that huge volcanic flow eons ago that came out of the Yellowstone hot spot. I know you can see it on the other side of the Continental Divide over at Taos, in the big valley there where the Rio Grande's cutting through, and I know it's the capstone rock for the flat tops formations, Battlement Mesa and Grand Mesa in Colorado, but apparently it didn't form this one, I would guess. It may have, but this little thing on my right over there, I'm not sure if you can see it anymore on the GoPro. Apparently it's a volcano, Capulan Volcano. Yeah, so we're cruising. We got it says 33 more miles and I'm going to be on the I-25 corridor. Actually, that I'm away from Denver, so yeah, but look at all the mountains. It's starting to look like home. All right, I will check back in with you when we get probably on the summit of Raton Pass. All right, be safe. All right, bonus footage. It's only been about 10-15 minutes since we were climbing up that hill on the other side of that ridge. Look at the view. Rocky Mountains with snow. We've been climbing it. I bet I'm over 7,000 feet here. Yeah, this is phenomenal. I got a view of the Rocky Mountain Continental Divide from left to right horizon. It's beautiful. I had no idea northeastern New Mexico was going to be this beautiful. Willing to bet it's much, there's antelope. Willing to bet it is much more beautiful than southeastern Colorado. So I think I chose the right route. Okay, there you go. You got snow and mountains. Taos is on the other side of those somewhere, down a little bit to the left. And we're going to be heading to the ones on the right. Okay, be safe. All right. I can't remember where the summit is from this side because I haven't driven this from the summit or to the summit on this side in years. All 4 trips last year, or this is the 5th trip through New Mexico in the past 13 months, and not once did we drive back this way. It's kind of interesting. I think this is the summit. Yeah! Los Animas County, Raton Pass, 7,834 vertical feet above sea level. I'm in Colorado, baby! 6% grade. This is an easy pass, to be quite honest. Super easy. Except for that Texas driver at the beginning who was driving the left lane and not passing a semi forever. You know what's interesting? It didn't say, welcome to colorful Colorado. Look at that. I'm in Colorado, baby. Next stop, Trinidad, and I'm gonna get my second coffee and some breakfast. I'm starving. There we are. Welcome to colorful Colorado. Love these signs. That's how you do it, people. See, I'm flying down this pass right now. I'm spirited driving the speed limit. I'm in the right lane, not passing anybody. Allowed the truck to blow by me at whatever speed he chooses. Open defiance of the law there in the left lane. And I don't need to hold him up, no matter how fast I'm going. All right, next stop, I'll see you guys. It's 10:30, so we're about halfway to another check. It'll be somewhere out on the highway. I'm gonna lose some time when I go to this Starbucks. I gotta find one in Trinidad. Never been to one in Trinidad before. New ground. All right, be safe. All right, we're about 22 miles into Colorado. It's I-25 all the way to Denver at this point. Stopped in Trinidad. There's a Starbucks inside of a Safeway. Grabbed my second Americano of the day after I'm finishing hour 4 on day 2 of the high country road trip. There we go, mile marker number 23. Heading north, I-25 from Trinidad into Denver. I'm about 3 hours from home, roughly. Probably have to stop and grab some gas. I need to run an errand on the way home, so I'm not going straight there. So I'm a little over 3 hours away, 220 miles, something like that. Anyway, easy. This is familiar territory. I know this highway like the back of my head, driven this one many times. Next big city we're going to come through is Walsenburg. Then we'll hit Pueblo, Colorado Springs, Castle Rock, and then the suburbs of Denver and Denver. And then we head north out of Denver and then left on Highway 36 towards Boulder. And home. I'm in my home state. It feels good. I love that color of blue. That's my blue sky. Yeah, it's very amarillo. Muy amarillo. Poquito verde. Just like Amarillo. Actually, it's more verde than Amarillo, Texas, which makes sense. Colorful Colorado, happy to be home. It's been, I left on a Thursday and today's a Tuesday, so that would be, this is day 12. Wow, that has been a long trip away from home, so looking forward to getting home. I'll check back in with you in an hour. Rolling our way out of Pueblo, just on the north side of Pueblo, Colorado. I'm less than 2 hours from Boulder, less than 2 hours from home if I were to just continue through on this 127 miles to go. It's kind of interesting. On I-25 between Trinidad, Walsenburg, and Pueblo, I passed at least maybe 5, definitely 5, maybe 6 or 7 state troopers, and everyone knows it. Everyone sets the cruise control in there. You're kind of like a sore thumb sticking out if you're speeding because the highway's so open, very little passing going on. But I saw all those state troopers in that area. We get to Pueblo, the speed limit drops to 65, and everything becomes more spirited. Literally. We come out the north side of Pueblo, which I seldom see state troopers on from here to Denver. Maybe one the entire route. And they're usually not hidden, they're usually driving. And instantly the speed is, let's say, quite a bit faster than what it was on the south side of Pueblo to the Trinidad, which is interesting. But anyway, still cruising home. The weather is beautiful. I'm kind of angled away from it. When I come to the left right here on this little draw to the left, if you can see to your left in your field of view, that's a big boy mountain. That's snow-capped beast up there. That's Pikes Peak. That's a 14er, 14,000 something. I don't know what Pikes Peak is, what the exact is, but I know it's over 14,000 feet. You can actually drive a car to the summit, and they hold the hill climb race up that road. It used to be dirt, and now they paved it. But yeah, cruising home, and this is where the pace picks up. It becomes rather brisk the rest of the way. Cruise control is useless through here because the speed disparity, it's too great. Cruise control just doesn't work in the right lane. If you pop in the left lane, something's gonna be all over your butt. So yeah, that's the situation. Don't know why the troopers are always on the south side of Pueblo and seldom on the north, but it seems like everyone knew it because the minute we hit the 65 mile per hour in Pueblo, the speed went up. It was bizarre. All right, I'm out of here. I'll check in with you in an hour. Traffic is spirited today coming out of Pueblo, Colorado. Well, we're north of the Air Force Academy at this point, just driving through Monument, Colorado. We're climbing up Monument Hill. You can see the edge of the Black Forest with all the pine trees right there. That extends all the way out for miles. I don't know, like 40, 50 miles to the east on this ridge. I believe this is called Monument Hill. It separates the Colorado Springs drainage from the Denver drainage. Yeah, so I'm heading up this. I'm gonna leave this on. You're gonna drive this with me. I think there's a elevation marker up here, and I think it's about 8,000 feet. I'm trying to remember, 7,800, something like that. Let's see what it says. These guys they're driving spiritedly, and we are just letting them punch a hole through traffic. This has been kind of fun. Making up some time today. Where were these guys yesterday when I was driving through the middle of nowhere in Texas? All right, there it is. Monument Hill elevation is 7,352 feet. That's almost the same height as Raton Pass was at the Colorado-New Mexico border, state line, whatever. It's just not as severe on both sides. So, because Colorado Springs is 6,900, so you're pretty high elevation already. But we are cutting across the Black Forest. Next up, we have Castle Rock, and then one or two more hills, and we will be in Denver Metro proper on the south side in Park Meadows, I think is what they call that. Centennial, Park Meadows, and then cruising through Inglewood right on into Denver proper. And we are almost home. That was under an hour, so we are, what would that be? Almost, we're coming up on completing hour 6 hours today. It's a 7-hour trip, so I'm about, Waze is telling me I'm a little over an hour from home. 68 miles from my home in Boulder County. Happy to be home, cruising.
Watch out.
It's been about an hour since I last spoke with you, coming over Monument Hill, north of the Air Force Academy, just north of Monument. I am now in Denver. Had to make a quick detour into the University of Denver campus to grab some clothing from my friend Charles. Charles the referee. When I left the Dallas Cup Hotel on Saturday morning, I felt like I was forgetting something, and I did. I drove all the way to Houston and from Dallas and realized in the closet of the hotel I had left some nice shirts and 2 jackets. So Charles was nice enough to grab those for me. He flew out back to Denver on Sunday evening, I think it was. So he was able to get them in his luggage, carry him on the plane, and I met him in Denver and picked those up there in the back seat of the car. He saved me having to drive through Dallas, although if I cut through Fort Worth, Dallas-Fort Worth is probably faster than the route I took through downtown Austin. Anyway, I got to see some new territory that I hadn't seen before. But this is Denver. This is Colfax Avenue. This is essentially Highway 40 cut through the middle of Denver. Denver's Main Street, if you will. And there's Male Wolf on the left. The new Mile High Stadium is on our left, just around this bend. That's the Area Parkway and everything, heading into the lower downtown area of Denver. But this is Denver, modern Denver. It is traffic. Quite a disparity from the speed that we were pulling since we left Pueblo, or even entering Pueblo. Speed right now is below 20. Waze is telling me I'm going 17 in the left lane. So welcome to Denver. As soon as we get through here, this bottleneck will ease up, and I am on my way home to Boulder County. I'm less than a half hour from home, as long as there's no wrecks, depending on what traffic does. But I will check in with you when I see the familiar Boulder County and the Flatirons. I am almost in Boulder County. I am rolling through Broomfield. That's actually, I think there's 1 or 2 more exits for Broomfield, technically, because it's like this little side area of the Flatirons Mall. But I get to look at that. There's my Flatirons on the left. I got the Indian Peaks Wilderness up there above Netherlands, straight behind it. And on the right, that behemoth, that's Rocky Mountain National Park and Longs Peak. People are driving slow. Alright, I don't know why they're in the left lane. That ain't too normal for Colorado. What are you doing? Alright, here we go. That's my view.
Exit right to Interlochen Loop, Northwest Parkway.
Technically,
Then keep right.
I'm going to tell Waze to shut up. I know where I'm at now. Technically, this is Broomfield County, but used to be Boulder County until they became their own city county. And just over this hill, I'm going to be in Boulder County proper. I don't even know if there's a sign for it. I don't even look for that stuff anymore. Passing the I'm just going to let you drive with me for a second here because this is spectacular. I have, look, there's not a cloud in the sky. The temperature right now, highway temperature at speed, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. It's phenomenal. They said it's a record-setting temperature day in Denver today, which is, I think Denver will take it because it's the coldest start to a year since 1979. We get past this bridge, we are Boulder County proper. Although I don't think there's a sign. That sign says Broomfield, but that's kind of misleading because we're out of it. This is Louisville. Broomfield's on the left over there, but it's Louisville to the right. This is all Boulder County. Look at my view. My Flatirons, Bear Mountain, Green Mountain, Flagstaff Mountain. Can't quite see Sugarloaf hidden back there a little bit. Arapahoe Peak. And on top of that one, that's the big one to the right of the Flatirons. That is spectacular. We are, according to the sign, 7 miles out of the city limits of Boulder. Oh, next exit is the Triple D, the diverging double diamond interchange. Check out that video from a couple weeks ago. Oh, I can't believe it. It's been, let me see what the mileage is. We are 1,133 miles from Cypress, Texas. And we are just over 17 hours of drive time. I left yesterday at 7 o'clock in the morning, if I remember correctly, which is Central Time, and I am just now getting home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Mountain Time. Lost an hour on that one. I left Amarillo, Texas at 8 o'clock Central, which is 7 o'clock our time, Mountain Time. So that's, I'm barely over 7 hours, including the stop to grab the clothes that Charles brought home from the Dallas hotel for me. Yes. All right, people, I gotta let you go. Look, it's starting to turn spring. There's no leaves on these cottonwoods. No leaves here yet, but I see kind of like a green tint and maybe some budding going on, little red budding tips. All right, got to tune you out. I'm driving into my house and I am home.